I told you guys yesterday I wasn't going anywhere, and that still remains true even now. Happy Saturday, everybody. Yeah, sorry, if yesterday was, really, somber. It's just something that I really have been meaning to share for a good long time. And considering everything that's happened up till now, in the end, I'm glad I shared it with you all. I mean, again, some things in life aren't really great, but at the same time, again, I'm alive to be able to say that. And I probably could have elaborated a little more how I personally knew Andrew, other than, doing cross country. And that was the fact that, I'll actually never forget this. I mean, I've repeated this hundreds of times at this point, but Trinity Pauling was an all-boys school. And, we like to, joke around and bust each other's chops because, we're guys. That's what we do. So, it was, I believe, a Tuesday afternoon in September when the cross-country team was doing, our stretch drills. And, I mean, again, we're guys, so we're going to talk about things that aren't really appropriate, that we really wouldn't say if there were any girls around. But we're basically coming up with really funny and relatively inappropriate names for the dormitories at Trinity Pauling. And I don't know how, but it just popped in my head because there's one dormitory on at Trinity Pauling called Barstow. And so I came up with Barstoners. And when I said it out loud, at first, there was no reaction at all. And then there was Andrew, who was the only one who laughed at that. That was actually, I'll never forget that. I mean, again, I could go into an entire spiel about how awful everything's been over the last 10 years, but I know for a fact you guys don't want to hear about any of that. Especially since, why would I? You guys don't. You guys are here to be entertained. You don't want to be feeling down, especially on a Saturday. Although now that I say that, I probably could have been a little more cautious about the fact that yesterday was Friday. I mean, with everything being so somber and so moody, I guess. I really have no idea what word to use there. I completely forgot to talk about the things I normally talk about. I mean, for starters, how about those Chargers? The Chargers might actually win their division. They could completely derail my original thought of a Rams Chiefs Super Bowl. That's going to completely just blow my mind. I mean, the last time you even thought that Phillip Rivers was any good was the year that they lost in the Chargers lost in the AFC Championship to the undefeated Patriots. So, yeah, Chargers they're looking good, looking pretty good right now. I must say. And it's actually kind of funny that I talked about my high school days to an extent yesterday because when I was at Horseheads, this was when High School Musical first came out, and everyone at this point knows just what kind of an impact it had on pop culture and everything. But it actually can be kind of surreal when the celebrity crush you had in high school, which for me was Vanessa Hudgens, ends up being a guest on Hot Ones. That was awesome. Oh yeah, I mean, I had celebrity crushes just like everybody else. In fact, no kidding, Vanessa Hudgens looked like a combination of like all the best features of like several cheerleaders at Horseheads. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. And again, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I also could have gone into a little more detail as to how I knew Sean as well. And that was he was actually Sean Bertanza. I mean, he was actually not only was he it was actually kind of funny because there was, if you didn't like do sports at Trinity Pauling, they had like clubs, and there was actually a running club, and Sean was actually so good that he's like, you know what? Well, I'll try cross country. So I went from being barely like number 7 and 8 on the cross country team for me to being like almost like 9 or 10. Oh yeah, I told you guys I had to fight tooth and nail in order to make the top 7 at Trinity Pauling cross country. And Andrew Einstein and Sean Bertanza are among the reasons why. But in the end, I'm really glad I knew them, and they got to be my teammates. And as long as I have this baby, I think, wait, which side is it on? Oh, yeah, this side. This is where the athletes are. Then I'm not gonna forget them, especially when I do athletic events or whatever. Whenever I do athletic events, I write the initials of my coaches on my right forearm, which is actually kind of easy for me to do because I'm left-handed. But when I do the athletes on my left forearm, it's actually kind of hard to do because, again, I'm left-handed, not right-handed. Actually, I should also get into another story about Sean Bertanza, and that was he was also in my English class, my English we call it English 4, but it was English, and he went in the beginning of the year because he actually had an afro. I'm not even kidding. He had like an afro, and I first see him like join the cross country team. I'm like, oh no, he has an afro. Well, in terms of making the top 7, abandon all hope, ye winner here. Hey man, afros are cool. Right up there with both sunglasses and bow ties. Oh yeah, that's very true. Afros are that cool. And we would joke, because Sean Bertanza was also known for playing basketball as well. And he was a really good basketball player. Like, he was easily like one of the best consistent 3-point shooters I'd ever seen. In fact, it got to the point where in English class one day, everybody was making bets as to how many 3-pointers Sean was going to make. And if he didn't make them, he'd have to shave the afro. Eventually he did, but not because of the bet. I think just because he wanted to. And I probably could have also explained just exactly, I talked about, suicide yesterday and whatever, but that's actually not, how Sean had died. I don't really know much of the details exactly. All I know is that he died in his sleep, which means it really could have been anything. And at the time, I was curious as to how, just because this was my senior year at Gettysburg College and I was a health sciences major. So, yeah, I was a little curious. But I eventually got to thinking, I would like to know, but if I go the entirety of the rest of my life and not knowing how, that's okay too. The important thing is not how you go, it's what you do and how you live before you go. And both Sean Bertanza and Andrew Einstein were both two of the nicest people I think anyone ever knew. And it's hard. In fact, a few people yesterday were asking how I was doing, how I was feeling, and, I'm still good. It's been hard these last 10 years. But I'm going to be okay. I mean, I said this yesterday too. If I didn't kill myself 10 years ago when I, at the time, rightfully should have, I'm not going to do it now. No way. I mean, I've been making videos for 349 days. Do you really think I'm going to stop now? No, I'm not going to stop now. Although now that I think about it, one video I've always really wanted to make was just get a couple of my brothers together and just talk for however long we needed to. Just talk about stuff that happened when I was at Trinity Poly. Partly because every brother I've had at Trinity Poly had their own story to tell, and plus, if there is something that you guys are questioning that I said, I'd be able to have proof that I was right about it. So, hooray for showing proof! Oh, man, I really am thinking about... Oh no, I'm thinking about school on a Saturday. There is no escape! Yeah. So, overall, after yesterday, I'm feeling pretty darn good. I'm glad that a couple of you reached out to me yesterday asking how I was doing, and, that you felt, sorry for me for whatever at the time, and I can't put into words how much I appreciate that. I really can't. I'm just glad that there are people who took the time and heard my story and hopefully would share it with the world. Because, again, I thought I was going to be, pardon my language, a big damn hero. And back at Horseheads, I could never do it. But that's okay. You don't need to be, you can be a hero in your own way. It's perfectly easy to do. Just be you, man. That's all you gotta do. Oh, I'm starting to get emotional now. Man, I was hoping this was going to be a good video in terms of fun and lightheartedness. What happened? I better get going before I accidentally make myself cry. So, you guys know the drill. Please like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. Follow me on the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You guys know I'm going to be chilling. And like always, I'm very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hopeful that we all have a wonderful Saturday. And remember, if you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. Take care, everybody.